Hello and welcome back to my channel. First we're starting with breakfast and then we're looking outside our balcony. We're in Naples. What is that? Is that like a ferry? It smells fishy out here. Norwegian escape. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I guess maybe that's a ferry. Hard to say really. So as I said a few seconds ago, we are in Naples, and as the locals call it, this is Napoli. So you can see us getting off the ship here. We had to wake up very early because our tour started pretty early, and we always just got off the ship early anyway, just to make sure that we were there in time. Unfortunately, that's the only time that you're going to see us getting off the ship on a port day, but you can see this really nice building. It was housed with lots of stores, and it was, as you can see, they were all closed. Unfortunately, they were open when we got back, but we were just so tired. We really did not even feel like going and looking at all the stores because we had such a long day, and you're about to see all of it. So one thing that you're going to hear is our driver, which was amazing. I can't remember her name right now. She told us multiple stories on the way over and on the way back, so you're going to hear a lot of voiceovers from her and in the car and in the drive over. So it's going to be mainly her today, except for when we get into Positano.
We are in Italy. We're in Naples. This is the port.
3,000 meters. So you have to imagine the mountain and the volcano together, one huge volcano, so doubles, more than double size. In the 79 after Christ, the volcano destroyed himself, split in two, and the piece of the volcano went on the town of Pompeii. So people died, not because of the lava, but because of the actual piece of the volcano. They became like bombs. So the ash, the pieces, and the gas. This is a very, very, very dangerous volcano, and the gas is very toxic. So it's very hard to run away from it. But of course, people in Pompeii had no idea that it was a volcano because it was covered with vegetation, first of all. Second, 7 years before the eruption, they had a very strong earthquake which destroyed a few houses. And rich people, they were scared because they thought that the gods didn't want them to be there anymore. So the rich people left the poor people looking after the houses, but karma is very bad, right? So when the volcano exploded in the 79 after Christ, it reached a few towns where actually the rich people were. So they died anyway. It's karma. Pompeii was a town, like a metropolitan town, really known for the tradings. Okay, so olive oil trades with wine, or wine trades with whatever they wanted to trade, okay? This is because Pompeii was on the water. There was a port in Pompeii. You can see the port when you will go to Pompeii. I don't know the tour guide which I'm gonna make you see it, but there is the port in Pompeii. But right now, Pompeii is not on the water. Not at all. Okay, so this is because the eruption always makes the water going back a little bit. Okay, so it's possible that since Pompeii is not on the water anymore, that castle was on the water, but now it's not anymore. It's a medieval castle, that one. So belonging to the 9th century. So we had many, many, many eruptions. I told you last one was 1944. So many eruptions, and so it is possible. We always say that Sorrento belongs to the Amalfi coast, just to make it easier. But Sorrento belongs to the Sorrento coast, and after you will see.
So I just looked up her name. It's actually Fredrika, but she was amazing. You can see like how informative she was, and she wasn't even like a tour. She was just kind of our driver, but she had amazing facts, told us great information, and we actually found out that she was working in Epcot for a year back in 2015 and 16, and it was through their cultural program. So she was actually in the Italy pavilion working there. So we just thought that was really cool with us being big Disney lovers. So you can probably see that I'm actually having to split this into two parts. So this is the first part. This is going to be Positano and Sorrento, and our second part next week is going to be on Pompeii. So our second one is probably going to be just as long because of all the things we saw in Pompeii, as well as some additional things we done on the ship that night due to it being our last night and having different things going on there. So I'm going to share a little bit of information about this tour. So this was actually from Taxi Mr. Cab Driver. So it's an odd name, I know, but it was another one of those tours that I found on the Facebook page that was the Disney Mediterranean Cruise Group. And it come highly recommended from several people. They do have a Facebook page. I honestly can't remember how I got in contact with them, but I will link that below in the description so you can see that. But this is a great tour. So from what I could see and prices that I looked up, it was 570 euros total for both me and my mom, and that did include the $120 euro tour guide in Pompeii. And without the tour guide, it would have been 450 euros for me and my mom. So after looking on the Disney Cruise website for Naples, this same excursion going to all three places would have been $369 a person, which would have been $738 for me and my mom. So that's a little pricey, obviously, but once we done the Euro to USD conversion, it would have been around the same. Plus, we tipped her at the end a good amount, so it would have been about the same. But in my opinion, this was so much better. We don't feel like we were too rushed or anything, that we had to be at a certain place at the same time. So we felt like this was a great excursion. And if you're looking to do private tours and stuff in especially Europe on cruises, this is a great tour guide, especially for Naples. So at the end of this series, after Rome and everything, I'm going to do a long video and just talk about all the tours and stuff we used and how I found them a little bit more in depth than just this.
Positano, Amalfi, Ravello and Sorrento, but no, there are 13 towns belonging to the Amalfi coast. Okay, we can start from Positano, then we have Praiano, Furore, Conca dei Marini, Amalfi, Atrani, Ravello, Minori, Maiori, Cetara, Erche, Tramonti and Vietri sul Mare. Okay, so we have 13 towns belonging to the Amalfi coast. Of course, if you stay overnight in some places which are not famous, like you can stay in Praiano, you can stay in Furore and Conca dei Marini, they are cheaper. Sorrento. Sorrento is more rocks. Meta is more beach. And you can see all the umbrellas, they will put the sunbed eventually. It's gonna be the sun. Ciao bella, che posto? Sì, che una foto con i tuoi? Una foto con i tuoi?
Look at all the trash.
No, forza sì. Positano. Sì. Tu? Usciamo là. On the ones that they have this green light green color, yeah, they are olives tree.
Oh wow.
So the Amalfi coast, the Sorrentina coast in this case, it's very famous for the olive oil and for the limoncello. But olive oil is very good over here, but very expensive at the same time. It is because, first of all, the olive season is only for 2 weeks during the whole year. We're talking about ending October, beginning November. Then what happened? They put some nets, yeah, some mesh in between the trees. They open it. When the olives falls in the net, doesn't touch the ground, doesn't get acid. Because of that, keeps the very good, strong taste of the olives, and so they can make a very good olive oil. So this is the reason why it's very good, but very expensive at the same time. You see the nets? Look on the left. They're closed now because it's not the season.
Oh, okay.
But then they will open it in some point. This is the Sorrentina coast. So we took the first exit. We're gonna stop for the pictures, don't worry. We took the first exit in Castellammare from Castellammare till the edge over there, that is basically Massa Lubrense, that comes just before Sorrento, it's the Sorrentina coast. Because they needed to give a name of the side of the coastline. And so they said, okay, let's call it Sorrento, Sorrentina coast. Okay, so basically you have seen one island and two rocks. Okay, the first one on the left, it's an island called Gallo Lungo, and the other two were just rocks, but all together are called Li Galli Island. Now, what happened? The one that is actually like an island, like there is a villa, there is a tower. That one, it's a private island. So basically, it's rented by some people that lives in Sorrento for 60,000 euros per week.
Oh, wow.
This island used to belong before to Rudolf Nureyev, that was a very famous Russian dancer. What happened? He got AIDS, so he knew that he was going to die, and before then dying, he sold the island. And of course now these people, they rented to mostly Russian families. So Russian are mostly the ones who go on the island.
You read it out.
Now I'll tell you a story about the island, but a mythologic story, okay? Because you need to know that the first name of Naples was not Naples. The first name was Partenope. It's a female name, and it was the name of a mermaid. So I told you that we were founded by a Greek, so Greek, it's all about mythologies, myth and stuff like that. So basically Partenope had two more sisters, and all three of them were living on an island very close to Sorrento, that is this island, the Galli Island. Now this is a love story, and those girls were very bad girls. They like to sing for the seamen, make the men fall in love with them, so the men would have jumped into the water and they would have eaten the men.
Oh.
Bad girls, I told you, bad girls.
Yeah.
Now the story is talking about a guy. His name is Ulisse, and Ulisse was in love with Partenope. So he wanted to hear her voice, but he didn't want to die. So he had the idea of attaching himself to the mast of the boat. When Partenope and the other mermaids started to sing for the man, what happened? The man didn't jump into the water, so he didn't die. But the story says that if the man doesn't die, it's the women that is going to die. So all three of them died, but Partenope in particular was taken from the waves on the seaside of Naples. And that's why we got the name of Partenope at the beginning. In fact, we get called Napoletani as we belongs to Naples, but we even get called Partenopei as we belongs to Partenope. There are few stages of Partenope in Naples. Oh.
Should he be on the other side, so maybe?
Oh my god, I didn't see him. Okay, well, few stages of Partenope in Naples, and there is even a university that is called the Partenope University. We are very proud of Partenope. Plus, what I was about to say. So yeah, first name. Then what happened? This was the story. The Greeks started to build a town on top of a hill in Naples that is called Pizzo Falcone, this hill. But they realized that maybe like building the town on top of a hill was not the best thing to do, you know? So what they did, they moved that part of the town that was called the Paleopolis, because from Greek, polis means town, pale means old, Paleopolis, to Neapolis, that is basically the historical center that we have now. Nea means new, polis again means city, Neapolis, with the arrival of the Romans, they changed the name in Naples, in Napoli. So this is a bit the evolution of the name. That one is very big villa, and they have you have a platform where you can land your helicopter in case of one. And they give you a private boat to reach the place.
And that's the one you said is $60,000 or
Yes,
euros?
per week. You see all these yachts? This means that we are very close to Positano, because Positano is the most expensive town of the Amalfi coast. People, the rich people, they don't go to stay in Positano town. They stay on them yacht, and then they go on the town. Positano, you can start to see it. See, Positano is in the water, different from Praiano, the other town, that is not on the water. This is the reason why Praiano is cheaper than Positano.
I did not expect to love Naples as much as I did, but this was my favorite day of the entire cruise that we were on at port. So everything just was amazing. So I loved every minute of this tour, everything that we were doing in Positano and Sorrento and Pompeii. It was just amazing. So I really was not expecting to love Naples as much as I did, but of all the places on the cruise that we went on, Naples is the place that I'm going to go back first, because I loved Pompeii, obviously. Sorrento and Positano were great, and I didn't feel like we had enough time. Again, this was not the tour guide's group or the tour guide's fault. It was just how the day was planned out, because we did have to be back on the ship, obviously, to get, with it being our last day and everything, and we also don't want to miss the ship. But we were on a tight schedule, and it wasn't, like I said, it was not her fault, and that's why I want to go back again to Positano, to Sorrento, and explore Pompeii a little bit more, because we only saw like just a small fraction of everything that was here to offer and everything. So this is the place that I will be going back first out of all the places. And then we could also go to Rome, because I loved Rome, and you're going to see that tomorrow, or I guess next week and next few weeks you'll see all of Rome. The drive over was so pretty. You can obviously see the beaches of Positano, you can see the small town of Positano, and then to look over on your left side and see like the rocks and stuff of the mountain, and then on the right see obviously the beaches, the water, all the cars, the Italian little cars and motorcycles and Vespas, and all the artwork on people's houses and the flowers and stuff. It was just so pretty driving into Positano, and it just made me wish that we had a lot more time in Positano. Like, I could have probably had a full day, if not 2 days, just in Positano, because it was just so great. We did unfortunately only have 1 hour in Positano, but that was enough to go and see a lot of the stores. Unfortunately, a lot were closed, and you will see a little bit later, like a few videos later, that there is a bakery, and it had something called sfacciatella. It is the one thing that I said I wanted to try when we were in Italy, because we got some from Trader Joe's earlier this year, and it was amazing. It was like this little flaky pastry, and it had some type of cream in it. That was the one thing that I wanted to try, and apparently Naples was popular for selling sfacciatella, and I did not get it. So another regret of the trip, but we had a great time in Positano, and you'll be seeing that in just a little bit.
When people came here a long time ago, they didn't focus, or they didn't check what was under. They just built the church. And a few years ago, they were restyling the church, and they founded this villa. And now it's possible to visit. The first bikini was made in Positano. The first bikini. Yeah, to swim. Yeah, it was made in Positano. Okay. This looks like you see this picture like spaghetti in 15 minutes. It looks like there is a meatball on the spaghetti, right? I think it's a meatball on the spaghetti, but it's very important that you know that meatballs on the spaghetti it's not Italian. Okay?
Really?
Yes, we don't put meatballs on the spaghetti. You will never find it unless it's like a touristic place that they want to make you happy.
Yeah.
So that's an American thing?
It's an American thing. Spaghetti with meatballs, it doesn't come like that. You can have the meatballs before, you can have it after, you can have it on the side, but you are never gonna have it on the spaghetti. Plus, I've seen when I was there that you guys make the meatballs with the veal and the beef. We don't mix the meat, never. And it's never veal, never. It can be like the beef, it can be like the pork, but not the veal.
No.
Doesn't exist, okay? Plus, Alfredo sauce, it's not Italian. Okay, it was a guy that was called Alfredo. I guess he moved to USA and he wanted to say, to trick it and say like, you love Italians, this is Italian sauce, but it's not Italian sauce. You're never gonna find. Anywhere you go here and you ask for Alfredo sauce, they're gonna be like, what? We don't have Alfredo sauce. Even because it's very, very creamy. It's like double cream. It's very strong, and we don't eat that strong. Okay, like the Italian cuisine is very light. So you're not gonna find the Alfredo sauce.
And there was one store that we wanted to go to. It was called CB by Core. If you've ever looked up videos of Positano, you have probably seen this store and how popular it is. So we did get to go there, but we were a little rushed because they had opened about like 10 or 15 minutes before we had to go. So it was long enough for us to go in and grab everything that we wanted to get. Again, I just wish we had more time and that we actually had been staying in Positano. But our tour guide, our driver Fredrika, was so nice enough to drive us down actually closer to where the store was. I don't know exactly where she would have dropped us off, had we not said I want to go to this store specifically. But she did drive, because you can see like this is Positano and all these stores are everything in Positano. So I don't know exactly where she would have dropped us off. So we did have to drive a little bit further into it to get to this store, but it was honestly so worth it. And then when we got there, it was closed, and she told us that she would let us know and text us when they opened to make sure that we could go to the store. And thankfully, like I said, they opened just a few minutes before we had to go, but it was long enough to get a really quick video, and I mean very quickly, and buy several things that made a hole in our budget a little bit. And being the plant lover that I am, I thought it was so cool to see a lot of cacti and see different plants and stuff. We did go to this one little area that had like tons of plants just out in pots, and they were just like growing randomly. So that was really cool for me to see. And again, you can see all the stores that are boarded up because they're closed, because we got here around like 9 something. But it was really nice to still just go explore the streets, and there were some stores open, and we did buy some things there as well. I had no intentions of my phone being out of storage. You want to look in here? I'm in the mood to shop. You got me on a good day. I know, but the thing said 9:30. And I'll say, oh well. I kind of like that.
What, this?
Yeah. I wouldn't use it, but I do like it.
Positano.
pictures. I like this little place. Ristorante. I don't know if I said that right. I don't know where I'm at right now, but look how pretty that is. Oh, you can smell the lemon. Are you hungry? I could eat. Oh, the lemons. You look very... Nope. Maybe. Could be. Yeah, it is. I don't really want anything that specifically says Positano. Well, yeah, a t-shirt, of course. Again, these plants were so amazing, and this was so picturesque and so beautiful, honestly, walking through these streets. And this was actually going down towards the water. You can see there's some people who were set up, local artists, I'm assuming, and I did buy a few things from some of those people. So that's one of my favorite souvenirs that I got, actually, because I bought like this postcard that someone had designed, and I bought a pin that someone made. So it was really cool, and I have got those hanging up in my wall and one on my pin board in my room. But again, the plants were so cool, and it was so pretty, and the temperature felt really good, honestly. It was not bad at all, but you can see the ocean down there. Look at this cactus. And then these steps were a little iffy. Like, honestly, it was a little weird going down into these steps, but we made it. No falls or injuries or anything on this whole trip, so we were so thankful of that. But those were a little iffy, to be honest. And I know I'm talking about like how pretty and stuff things were, but this was again another picturesque area, and this was like right outside of the bathroom. So I thought that was really cool. You can hear the water, the fountains and stuff, but I so wish we would have stayed here, and I'm probably gonna say that about 2 more times in this video because it was just so pretty, and just to get to explore and see everything was really cool. Parking. This little car just spoke Italian, I know, but then it was time to go to CB by Core, and there were tons of people in there, and like right when it opened, and you can see these little bags look like they're handmade. I thought that there was like some little Italian grandma sitting in the back, like sewing every single bag. But I got home, I looked in the tag, and it said made in like Vietnam or something, like some other country. So that kind of ruined it a little bit, but honestly, these were some of my favorite purchases of the trip. I got some for myself, some for gifts, and me and my mom love this. It's kind of like Vera Bradley, but it's if Vera Bradley was a little bit better looking and more patchwork and everything, but we just love this store. And then it was time to leave Positano and go to Sorrento. So the drive over there took about 50 minutes from the time we got into the car, from the time we actually stepped foot in Sorrento. So Sorrento was a really small area, or where we were at was just kind of small, and the streets were even smaller. So everyone was packed in there like sardines. There is obviously a big tourist attraction going there and looking around there. And so there were lots of people. It was almost a little bit overwhelming how many people were there, but we still had a great time. I know I said earlier in a video that I don't like shopping, but as I said earlier in this video, my mom caught me on a good day because I was in a mood to shop, and we certainly did that. Normally, going in stores and looking around in stores is just not my favorite thing to do, especially if I'm not in the mood. But if you catch me in the right mood, then I'll be happy to do so. And I was really excited to do that today. I know I mentioned this earlier that Naples was my favorite place, and it really was. Like, there was not a moment like in Athens when we got to see the Acropolis, or in Santorini when we saw the Blue Dome churches, that was like, oh my goodness, we learned about this in history. Like, I'm actually standing here. I wouldn't say that I had that moment here in Naples. I would just say, like, I had, like, every moment was kind of that moment. Like, oh my goodness, I'm really enjoying myself. Italy is great and amazing and everything. And I'm so fortunate and so privileged to have been able to come and travel and get to see Italy and see all these different countries. And I say I hate my job all the time because it's not my favorite, honestly. I get a little burnt out sometimes doing it, and my mom is always the first to remind me that my job is what helps me pay and go on these trips. So I'm really fortunate to have a job. I know some people would love to be able to have a job, and just for health reasons or something else like that, they just can't. So I do need to be a little more thankful and stuff for that job, because it has allowed me to do so many things. It allows me to go to Disney World, give back, and go and travel and do things like this. So I am really fortunate to have that, and just being able to be here in Naples and see Italy and see different cultures and hear about Fredrika's story about how she lives in a house with all her family, including her sister's family. It just brought a little bit of perspective into my life, like how blessed we are as Americans to live in these houses and have cars and go just do whatever we want to on most days, and be able to do that. And then hear Fredrika's stories where she's got just a little tiny corner in her house just because they can't afford it, and it just is not feasible with that many people living in a house. So it does put a little things into perspective to hear stories like that. And then just to think, like, we're in Italy right now traveling. So it was a little bit of a hit for me, but we did have a really good time, and going and seeing these sights and seeing this road was really fun. One thing that happened in Sorrento, though, so at the end we were kind of running out of time, and my mom wanted to go back in a store to purchase something, and I wanted to get some gelato. So I told my mom, let's just break up. I needed her phone so I could record stuff, and I just gave her my phone, which I forgot to turn off of airplane mode, so there is no way to have called her, no way to have contacted her. So while I'm getting gelato, she's doing that. I got out of the gelato store, went to where the store was at. She was not there, could not find her. Panicked a little bit. We did eventually find each other and found Fredrika in the car. So it was a little bit of panic and worry, but we did get back to each other. I will say the second gelato I had was much better than the first, and this view was beautiful. It's actually one of my screensavers on my phone. It feels pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think Sorrento is famous for bells and stuff, I think. I don't know that for sure, but we went into this first store. They had lots of bell ornaments and different types of ornaments, and another thing that I wish I would have bought. Now, it may have been broken by the time we got home, but I do wish I would have got this for a souvenir to hang on our tree. Just thought about getting myself a little wallet.
That one is just like this one.
Yeah. This ain't really. You don't want anything? I'm so excited for this.
Thank you so much.
chocolate.
And this white meat to that?
No. No.
And what do you?
No, this one.
Not me being filmed eating my gelato, but for real, that macaron on top was delicious. Almost better than the gelato. But after we looked around and stuff, this was prime pickpocket territory, honestly. There was not any time that we felt like someone was going to come up to us, but it was a bit iffy, honestly. And of course, we had to get a magnet, and I wish we would have got that Vespa with the lemons and stuff, but we didn't. Euros, actually. No, I don't. Suitcase. Wow. Dog. Hey Mama, here's some t-shirts. And you can see how tightly packed these streets are right now. It was, like I said, a bit overwhelming, but still fun nonetheless to look at and look at all the different things they had. We literally just stumbled up on this church, but it was really cool to look at and interesting. And if I'm not mistaken, those kind of look like frescoes in there, but I honestly have no idea the name, anything, any history or anything like that. This was one of the calmer streets that we went down. It was off of the main street of Sorrento, and as you can see, it was obviously not that crowded. There were a few stores that we did look at in here, but there was not much down these little side streets. But we did look, and we saw a little bit more of things like the Vespas and stuff. We got a picture with one of the little scooters, just one random one sitting there. Don't know whose it is though. So one of the things that I've hated about going and doing these videos and editing my YouTube videos that I've been doing in this series is going back and looking at all the things I wish I would have bought. Like, honestly, there's so many things, so many souvenirs. I'm like, I wish I would have got that, or like some food or that pastry back in Positano that I wish I would have tried. Like, it's honestly been the worst. No. And then we just kind of stumbled into this area. It was behind these two huge stores, but it was really cool to look at and kind of neat.
Nope, it's probably one day we're gonna be late.
My mom was a little panicked about the time, but honestly, that second gelato was worth it. It was delicious and the best of the whole trip thus far. And after Sorrento, it was now on our way to get lunch and then go to Pompeii. So thank y'all for watching this far. You will have to see Pompeii in our second video next week on Thursday. But thank y'all for listening to my ramblings and looking at everything. And thank y'all for watching. There's no Tylenol this time. There will be next time. But if y'all are liking these videos, please like and subscribe. That does help build our followers and gets his videos out to more people who may be trying to go on a Mediterranean cruise or go explore Italy or any other country. So again, thank y'all for watching, and we will see you in the next video.